Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Please settle into a comfortable position, letting your body be supported and your mind begin to soften. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, except simply be here, in this moment, with this breath. We are about to begin a long, gentle journey inward, exploring timeless landscapes of peace. Imagine your awareness as a deep, clear lake. The winds of thought may ripple the surface, but we will learn, together, to rest in the undisturbed stillness far below. Our path will weave through ancient wisdom, not as a strict doctrine, but as a series of quiet revelations about the nature of your own heart. We will move through these teachings in an order that mirrors the natural unfolding of understanding, not a linear checklist. So, let us begin at the very root of freedom, with a principle that changes everything once it is felt, not just known. There is a teaching in Buddhism, spoken from a place of profound compassion, that offers the ultimate refuge. It is the understanding that no person, no event, no word spoken in anger or carelessness, can ultimately reach and harm the essence of who you are. The Buddha pointed to this inviolable inner sanctuary. Think of your truest self not as a small, fragile figurine on a shelf in the world's bustling room, easily knocked over and chipped. Instead, envision it as the very space of the room itself. The room contains all the furniture, the pleasant chairs of joy, the sharp-cornered tables of criticism, the chaotic piles of daily worry. Objects can be moved, broken, or rearranged within the room, but the space that holds them remains untouched, unmoved, and entirely undamaged. The space cannot be scratched by the furniture. You are that space. You are the aware, silent container for all experiences, not the experiences themselves. When someone speaks to you with harshness, it is like a loud, discordant piece of furniture being thrust into your room. The natural, untrained instinct is to believe you are that furniture, to become the noise and the jagged shape. You contract around it, you resonate with its discord. Suffering is believing you are the object instead of the space holding it. The practice, the path of freedom, is the gradual, gentle reorientation of your identity from the temporary objects to the permanent, spacious awareness. This is the core of mindfulness. It is not about emptying the room, which is impossible. It is about learning to sit quietly in the center of the room, noticing each object that arrives. The heavy sofa of grief, the bright lamp of a compliment, the dusty clutter of anxiety, and recognizing, with a soft inner nod, this is here. But I am the space for it. I remember a turning point in my own understanding, years ago, far from any formal setting. I was in a crowded meeting, and a colleague publicly dismissed an idea I had poured weeks into. His words weren't just critical, they were dismissive, designed to belittle. A familiar, hot storm erupted inside my chest. Lightning flashes of humiliation, thunderclaps of defensive argument. For hours afterward, I was not in my office, I was trapped inside that storm, replaying the scene, drafting retorts in my mind. I was entirely identified with the hurt object in my room. Later, drained, I stood at a high window. The city lights stretched out, countless points of life each in their own room. And the sky above it all was vast, dark, and profoundly silent. It held the city, the lights, my building, my storm. And was utterly untouched by any of it. In that moment, the metaphor became a visceral experience. I had a choice, to continue being the small, buffeted weather inside, or to remember my nature as the sky that could hold it. It was the beginning of a different way of being. This is why meditation is not an escape. It is the dedicated training of sitting in your room, your inner space, and watching the furniture come and go. You watch the breath come in like a gentle breeze, and go out. You watch an itch arise on your nose, a small, scratchy object of sensation. You watch the thought about your to-do list appear, linger, and dissolve. Each time you notice an object and remember you are the space for it, you strengthen that recognition. You are building your spiritual immune system. So when the next piece of harsh furniture is thrown into your room, the habit of spacious awareness is stronger than the habit of contraction. You feel the impact, you acknowledge its presence. It would be dishonest not to, but you do not become it. You let it sit there, knowing that like all objects, its power to define your inner landscape is an illusion you no longer need to grant. And if this practice of becoming the sky, the silent room, the aware space, resonates with you, if you wish to have a companion on this path of remembering, then I warmly invite you to subscribe to Monk's Moon Temple. Think of your subscription as a gentle, daily bell of mindfulness, a reminder to return to your own spacious nature. It allows us to continue creating these shared journeys into calm. Now, let's explore what happens when we live from this place of inner space, and how it changes our relationship with every single person we meet. When your sense of self is anchored in the open sky within, rather than in the passing weather of opinion and insult, the entire dynamic of human interaction transforms. Every encounter becomes rich with meaning, not as a source of personal validation or injury, but as a sacred lesson. Buddhism encourages this radical reframing, to see every person, without exception, as a teacher on your path. The kind ones are the easy, welcome tutors in grace. But the difficult ones, the ones who irritate, challenge, or oppose us, they are the master teachers, the professors of our most advanced curriculum in patience, compassion, and boundaries. Consider a person in your life who consistently triggers a reaction in you. Perhaps it's a family member with a grating habit, a coworker with a negative outlook, or a stranger with demanding energy. The conventional view sees them as a problem, an obstacle to your peace. The wisdom view asks a revolutionary question. What is this person here to reveal to me about myself? They are a flawless mirror, held up to your own soul. Your irritation is not really about their behavior, it is a signal pointing to a tender spot within you, an expectation, an attachment, a forgotten wound. The teacher is not trying to teach you, their mere existence is the lesson, if you have the courage to study it. Let me illustrate with an original story. In a village, there was a man known for his constant, grumbling negativity. He found fault with the weather, the market prices, his neighbors' children. Most villagers avoided him. But one young woman, a student of a local sage, was given an assignment, to learn one true thing from this man each day for a month. The first week was torture. All she heard was complaints. But then, she began to listen differently. She heard in his complaints about noise, a deep longing for quiet. Behind his grumbles about other success, she heard a whispered fear of his own inadequacy. She didn't agree with his expression, but she learned to see the unmet need beneath it. By the month's end, she had learned profound lessons about loneliness, fear, and the many masks of suffering. One day, she simply said to him, "It must be very tiring to see the world that way." He was silent for a long time, a single tear tracing his wrinkled cheek. No one had ever seen him, only his grating exterior. He was her teacher in deep listening, and in that moment, she became his teacher in being seen. The mirror worked both ways. This is the practice. The impatient person in line ahead of you is teaching you about your own attachment to speed. The forgetful friend is teaching you forgiveness and the impermanence of plans. The person who speaks over you might be teaching you about the strength of your own voice, or your need to be heard. Mindfulness is the tool that lets you catch the lesson in real time. In the moment you feel the reactive heat rise, you can pause and ask inwardly, what is being reflected back to me right now? This simple question creates the gap between stimulus and reaction where wisdom can grow. Living this way turns life from a series of random collisions into a deliberate, lifelong curriculum. You walk through the world not with a shield, but with a curious, open heart. You begin to greet challenges not with, why is this happening to me, but with, what is this here to teach me? This perspective doesn't condone unkindness or allow others to trample your boundaries. In fact, it gives you the clarity to set boundaries with compassion, because you see the lesson clearly. This person is teaching me that I need to protect my energy. You respond from wisdom, not from wounded ego. The entire world becomes your monastery, and every being a monk with a lesson to share. It is a practice that cultivates boundless humility and endless curiosity. You are never bored, never truly victimized, for you are always a student, and the great university of life is always in session. Now, let us flow from the recognition of inner space and the teachers all around us, into the graceful art of release. There is a profound current that runs through the Buddhist teachings, a river of wisdom about the nature of clinging and the peace found in its opposite. We suffer not because of change itself, but because of our desperate, aching resistance to it. We clutch at moments of joy, fearing their end. We push against moments of pain, demanding their immediate departure. We grasp at people, wanting them to remain forever as they are, or to become what we need them to be. This tight-fisted grip on life is the source of our deepest unrest. The path of peace, then, is the practice of learning to open the hand. This is often called non-attachment, and it is perhaps the most misunderstood of all the great principles. It does not mean cold detachment, a life of emotional poverty where you care for nothing so you can lose nothing. That is not freedom, it is a living fear. True non-attachment is the capacity to engage with life fully, passionately, and lovingly, while simultaneously holding all of it with an open palm. It is to love the flower deeply, to admire its color and scent, without needing to pluck it and possess it in a vase where it will only wilt. It is to invest yourself completely in a project, while understanding that its final form may be different from your initial vision. The open hand can feel the texture of the world, can caress and create, but it does not crush, it does not imprison. Imagine you are floating on a gentle, wide river. You have a destination in mind, a beautiful meadow downstream. You can paddle, you can steer, you can use your skill and effort to navigate. This is your right action, your intention. But you cannot control the river's current. You cannot command the wind. The suffering arises when you become fixated on reaching the exact spot on the bank at the exact moment of sunset. When a hidden log slows you, or a side current pulls you toward a different, unknown shore, you panic. You fight the water, you exhaust yourself, you curse the river. The wise floater does her best with her paddle, but she also rests, looks at the sky, feels the water's support. She trusts the river's broader intelligence. She may arrive at a different meadow than she planned, one with unexpected berries or a stunning view of the cliffs. By aligning with the flow, rather than fighting it, she discovers a journey of ease and surprise. This applies to every facet of our lives. In our careers, we attach to a specific title, a timeline for promotion, a vision of making it. When a layoff happens, a project fails, or the industry shifts, we experience it as a personal catastrophe, a derailment of our destiny. But what if the river is simply bending? What if this seeming setback is the current pulling you towards skills you didn't know you needed, or a field more aligned with your true nature? I spent years attached to a particular identity as a writer. When the work in that field dried up, I felt obsolete, a failure. It was only when I exhausted myself fighting this reality that I finally let go of that rigid self-concept. In the spaciousness that followed, entirely new forms of expression emerged. Slower, deeper, and more connected to the heart, like the very words we share now. The loss of one shore revealed the existence of a richer continent. Consider this original story of the kite maker. There was an old man famous for crafting magnificent kites. He would spend weeks on each one, designing intricate patterns, balancing the frames perfectly. He loved them like children. Every spring, he would take his new kite to the high hill. Villagers would watch as he launched it, his face glowing with pride as it caught the wind. And then, at the moment it flew highest, most beautifully, he would do something shocking. He would take a small knife and cut the string. The kite would soar away, dancing on the currents, growing smaller and smaller until it vanished. People asked him, why? After all that work, why let it go? The old man would smile. The work was my joy. The flight is its purpose. If I keep it tethered to my fist, it is only a prisoner of my pride, straining at a leash. By cutting the string, I give it to the sky. Its freedom is the completion of my art. And now, he would say, looking at the empty, vast blue, my hand is open to create again. This is the essence. We are the kite makers. Our relationships, our projects, our health, our very lives are the kites. We pour love and care into them. But to cling, to try to tether a living thing eternally to our control, is to imprison it and ourselves. Letting go is not losing, it is the final, loving act of participation in something greater than our ownership. It is trusting that the sky, the greater process of life, knows what to do with our beautiful, released creations. In relationships, this manifests as loving the person before you, not the project of who you think they should be. It is releasing the need to control their moods, their opinions, their growth. This open-handed love creates a space of incredible safety and freedom where the other person can actually be themselves, and where real connection can flourish, unforced. It means accepting that people, like rivers, change course. It doesn't mean tolerating harm, it means seeing the truth of the other clearly, and from that clarity, choosing how to engage, or whether to let the current carry you on different paths. The practice is moment to moment. When you feel anxiety about a future outcome, a test result, a job interview, a difficult conversation, notice the tight grip of your mind. Breathe into that fist of worry. Imagine placing that desired outcome on a leaf and setting it on the stream of your breath. Do what you can, prepare, act with integrity, and then, as an act of profound courage, open your hand. Surrender the need to control the uncontrollable. This surrender is not weakness. It is the strength to be at peace with the unfolding mystery. It is aligning yourself with the current of life itself, and finding that in the letting go, you are held, you are carried, you are free. As we learn to rest in our inner space, welcome every teacher, and open our hands to life's flow, we naturally come to the quiet, solid ground beneath our feet, the ground of our own choices. Buddhism places a luminous emphasis on ethical living, not as a set of imposed rules from a distant authority, but as the natural and intelligent architecture for a peaceful mind and a harmonious world. The Buddha taught that our thoughts, words, and actions are seeds. They are planted in the fertile soil of our consciousness and in the shared field of our relationships. What we sow, we will inevitably reap. This is the law of karma. Not a system of punishment and reward, but a universal principle of cause and effect, as reliable as gravity. Living ethically, therefore, is the ultimate form of self-care and world care. It is the practice of planting seeds of peace, so that we may harvest a life of peace. It begins with the understanding that every moment is a choice point. Between a stimulus and your response, there exists a sacred, powerful pause. In that pause, your freedom lives. In that pause, you can choose the seed you wish to plant. Let's consider speech. Honest communication is more than just refraining from lies. It is the practice of aligning your words with truth and kindness, for the benefit of understanding. It is refusing to add to the fog of confusion or the poison of division in the world. Think of your words as stones dropped into the pond of a relationship, or into the wider pond of the world. A stone of harsh truth, thrown with force, creates violent, damaging ripples. A stone of gentle honesty, placed with care, creates clear, expanding rings that can carry insight all the way to the shore. There is immense power in a single sentence that reflects reality without blame. "I feel hurt when that happens," is different from, "You always hurt me." One is a true report from your inner world, the other is an accusation that builds a wall. I learned this not in a grand setting, but in the humble arena of family. During a tense holiday gathering, a relative made a pointed, sarcastic comment about life choices I had made. My old, untrained instinct was to fire back with a sharper remark, to win the point. But I felt that sacred pause. I took a breath. Instead of matching sarcasm with sarcasm, I simply said, with as much calm as I could muster, "It sounds like you're really worried about me." The energy in the room shifted instantly. The sarcasm was a mask for concern. My ethical choice, to respond with a search for the truth behind the words, rather than to react to the words themselves, disarmed the conflict and opened a door to a real, if difficult, conversation. The seed I planted was one of curiosity instead of combat, and the harvest was connection instead of rupture. Compassion, or metta, is the active wish for freedom from suffering, for all beings. It starts with yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So, the first ethical act is to meet your own pain, your own fatigue, your own imperfections with a gentle, forgiving kindness. Then, that same quality can flow outward. An act of compassion is a powerful seed. It may seem small, letting someone merge in traffic, listening fully without waiting for your turn to speak, offering a genuine compliment, but its roots grow deep in the unseen soil of the human heart. You may never see the full tree that grows from that seed, but you have altered the ecosystem for the better. I will share an original parable about two gardeners and a wall. In a town, two neighbors had a long, high stone wall between their properties. One gardener, Anna, was cheerful and grew vibrant flowers. The other, Ben, was sour and let his side grow thorns and weeds. One spring, Anna found a rare, beautiful creeping vine with sweet-scented blossoms. She planted it on her side of the wall. As it grew, it naturally began to climb the stones. Ben, watching from his window, scoffed, "She's trying to show off." But the vine did not stop at the top of the wall. It crept over and began to grow down Ben's side. Within a year, the thorny patch on Ben's side was covered in lush green leaves and fragrant flowers. Bees and butterflies now visited his garden for the first time. He never thanked Anna, he was too proud. But he started spending more time outside, tending to the new growth. He eventually planted a small fruit tree. Anna never intended to change Ben's garden. She simply planted what she loved on her side of the wall. Compassion is like that vine. You tend to your own inner garden with kindness. That goodness, by its very nature, cannot be contained by the walls we build. It grows over, it transforms the landscape around it, often in ways you will never directly witness. Ethical living also involves the graceful art of restraint, knowing when not to act, when not to speak. Refraining from gossip, from spreading the second-hand rumor, is not just about protecting others. It is about protecting your own mind from becoming a cluttered, dusty attic of other people's dramas. It is choosing to not ingest and then redistribute mental poison. Restraint creates inner space and clarity. Forgiveness is the deepest form of this restraint. It is the conscious decision to stop drinking the poison you meant for someone else. Holding a grudge is a burden you carry, thinking it weighs on the other person. Forgiveness is putting that heavy burden down by the side of the road and walking on, lighter. When you live by these principles, you build a life on a foundation of bedrock. External circumstances, praise and blame, fame and obscurity, pleasure and pain, become like weather on a mountain. The weather changes constantly, storms, sunshine, fog, wind. But the mountain remains, steadfast. Your ethical core is that mountain. When you know you have acted with integrity, spoken with kindness, and restrained from harm, you carry an unshakable inner stability. No external opinion can topple you, because you are rooted in your own conscious choices. This is true confidence. It is not the loud bravado of ego, but the quiet, solid knowing that you are living in alignment with the deepest truth you know. This path is not about perfection. You will drop stones that create messy ripples. You will sometimes speak from irritation instead of clarity. The practice is not to never make a mistake, but to notice it with kindness, learn from it, and choose differently next time. It is the lifelong cultivation of a heart garden, pulling the weeds of harmful habits and planting seeds of peace, one mindful choice at a time. In doing so, you become a sanctuary, for yourself and a silent, steady beacon of peace for a world that so deeply needs it. Let us now turn our attention to a quality that acts like sunlight on the landscape we've been tending, the inner sky, the open hand, the ethical ground. This quality is gratitude. In the Buddhist tradition, gratitude is not merely a polite social grace or a fleeting feeling when things go our way. It is a profound mode of perception, a way of training the heart to see the world through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. The Buddha himself encouraged a practice of thankfulness so deep that one could find a point of gratitude even in the midst of difficulty, recognizing the simple, profound gift of being alive, of having a mind that can learn, even if the lesson is hard. Gratitude is the conscious decision to shift your focus from what is missing to what is present. It is the mental act of turning from the single, barren patch in the garden to see the vast, flourishing growth that surrounds it. Our minds have a survival-oriented bias toward noticing lack, threat, and problems. This was useful for our ancestors avoiding predators, but in our modern lives, it can paint the world in a perpetual hue of not enough. Gratitude is the deliberate correction of that lens. It is saying, while this problem exists, I also see this support. While this pain is real, so is this comfort. Think of your life as an old, intricate tapestry. From the front, you might be focused on a single tangled thread, a knot of hardship or disappointment. It feels like the whole picture. Gratitude is the practice of gently turning the tapestry over. On the back, you see the magnificent, interconnected web of threads that hold everything together. The countless supports, acts of kindness, moments of grace, lessons learned, and simple beauties that form the foundation of your existence. The tangled knot is still there, but it is now seen in its true context, a small part of a vast, beautiful, and resilient whole. I learned the transformative power of this turning over during a period of professional stagnation. Each day felt gray, defined by what wasn't happening, no breakthroughs, no recognition, no forward motion. A wise friend suggested a painfully simple practice, each evening, to write down 3 things that had gone right, that had supported me, or that I had simply noticed that day. The first entries were embarrassingly small. The coffee was hot. The bus was on time. I saw a sparrow take a bath in a puddle. It felt almost silly. But over weeks, something subtle shifted. My attention, which had been like a spotlight glaring at the blank wall of my frustrations, began to widen. It started to catch the corners of the room, the shelf of books I loved, the photograph of a friend, the quality of the afternoon light. I began to notice the infrastructure of my life, a body that worked, a roof that didn't leak, a mind that could read and think. The stagnation hadn't magically ended, but it was no longer the dictator of my emotional state. It became one thread in a much richer tapestry. Here is an original story about the Well of Thanks. In a parched land, there was a village that relied on a single, deep well. A long drought came. Water became scarce, and the villagers grew fearful and short-tempered, guarding their few buckets fiercely. A traveler arrived, a woman known for her serene presence. She went to the well, but instead of drawing water immediately, she simply sat by its stone rim. She placed her hands on the sun-warmed stone and closed her eyes. A child, curious, asked what she was doing. "I am thanking the well," the woman said. "Thanking it for what?" the child scoffed. "It's almost empty." The woman smiled. "I am thanking it for the deep, cool dark beneath us that has held water for generations. I am thanking the hands that dug it and lined it with these stones. I am thanking the rope that still lowers the bucket. I am thanking the effort of every arm that has drawn from it, including my own." She then drew up a small, precious amount of water. As she drank, she did so slowly, with palpable gratitude. The villagers watched her. Her act did not fill the well, but it changed the atmosphere around it. One by one, they began to approach the well not just with demand, but with a moment of recognition. The fear did not vanish, but it was joined by a thread of thankfulness for what was still there. The well became a place of communal acknowledgement, not just of scarcity, but of shared history and effort. This is the practice. It is thanking the well in your own life. It is pausing before the meal to acknowledge the chain of sun, soil, farmer, trucker, and cook. It is ending the day by feeling, not just thinking, one thing that supported you. It is the gratitude walk, where you silently thank the tree for shade, your legs for carrying you, the inventors of the shoes that protect your feet. Gratitude is also a powerful social glue. A sincere, "Thank you for being there," or "I really appreciated how you handled that," is an act of profound seeing. It acknowledges the invisible labor of care that holds our relationships together. In the Buddhist understanding of interdependence, every life is sustained by countless others. Each expression of thanks is a conscious stitch in that net of mutual support, strengthening it. In times of deep loss or pain, gratitude becomes an anchor, not to the past, but to the fundamental reality of the present moment. It might sound like, "I am grateful I can feel this grief, because it means I loved deeply." Or, "I am grateful for this one, steady breath." Or, "I am grateful for the friend who sits with me in silence." This is not a bypass of sorrow. It is the placement of a single, steady candle in the dark room of suffering. It does not deny the darkness, but it affirms that not all is dark. It grounds you in what remains true and whole, preventing you from being completely consumed by what has been lost. Ultimately, gratitude softens the heart's constant craving for life to be other than it is. By genuinely appreciating the components of the present moment, the bitter and the sweet woven together, you loosen the desperate grip of, "if only." You make peace with the reality of what is. From that place of peace and fullness, you can still move, grow, and strive, but you do so from a sense of abundance, not from a shrieking sense of lack. You discover that joy is not a destination to be reached after acquiring certain conditions. It is a flavor that can be found in the very act of thankful attention, in the sacred and simple act of drinking from the well, and knowing it for the miracle it is. Now, let us gently explore the practice that allows the sky-like mind, the open hand, the ethical ground, and the grateful heart to fully integrate, the practice of acceptance. In the West, we often confuse acceptance with resignation, with a kind of passive, slumped-shoulder surrender to circumstances we dislike. We think it means giving up, saying, "fine," with a hint of bitterness. But in the profound psychology of the Buddha's path, acceptance is something entirely different. It is not the end of the road, it is the essential, clear-eyed beginning of wisdom. It is the active, courageous, and compassionate yes to reality as it presents itself in this very moment, before we decide how to respond. The root of so much of our suffering is not the initial pain or the unwanted event itself, but the torrent of resistance we pour on top of it. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from craving and aversion, wanting what we don't have, not wanting what we do have. Acceptance is the direct antidote to aversion. It is the conscious decision to stop arguing with reality. You see, when you argue with what is, when you mentally shout, "this shouldn't be happening," you are in a debate you can never win. Reality has already happened. The broken cup is already on the floor. The difficult news has already been delivered. The feeling of anxiety is already present in your body. Your protest does not change the fact, it only adds a layer of mental anguish. A secondary suffering, on top of the initial challenge. Imagine you are walking through a forest and your foot sinks into a deep, cold patch of mud. Resistance is standing there, one foot stuck, raging at the mud, at the forest, at your shoes, at your bad luck. You waste energy, you increase your misery, you remain stuck. Acceptance is the moment you stop fighting. You feel the cold, wet ooze. You acknowledge, "my foot is in mud. This is the current reality." From that place of clear acknowledgement, your intelligence is freed. You can then calmly assess, can I pull my foot out? Do I need to take my shoe off? Is there a branch to grab? Or do I simply need to stand here for a moment, feeling the mud, until I find my balance? Acceptance is the necessary pause that allows for intelligent, compassionate action. It is the foundation of responding instead of reacting. I learned a lesson in acceptance from an unlikely teacher, a stalled train. I was on my way to a meeting I had prepared for meticulously, a meeting I felt was critical. The train jerked to a halt between stations. Minutes ticked by, then half an hour. Announcements were vague. My typical pattern was to combust internally, fuming, checking the watch, sighing loudly, mentally writing an angry letter to the transit authority. That day, utterly exhausted by this habitual struggle, I just stopped. I looked out the window at the graffiti on the tunnel wall. I listened to the quiet hum of the stalled train. I felt the seat beneath me. I said to myself, I am on a stalled train. This is what is happening. I accepted the reality of my immobility. Instantly, the internal war ceased. The meeting would be late, or missed. That was now a fact. The fight was over. In the spacious peace that followed, I opened a book I'd been carrying and read a chapter one deeply enjoyed. I arrived at my destination an hour later, but I arrived calm, centered, and able to handle the consequences with clarity. The stalled train didn't change. My relationship to it did. Let me share an original story, the tale of the two potters. In a famous pottery village, there were two master artisans. The first, Kaito, was known for his flawless technique. Every pot was symmetrical, the glaze perfect, the firing exact. He would meticulously examine each piece after the kiln cooled, and if he found the tiniest flaw, a barely perceptible ripple in the glaze, a speck in the clay, he would smash the piece with a hammer, deeming it a failure. The second potter, Sumi, had a different approach. Her pieces were often irregular, the shapes flowing and organic. When she opened her kiln, she would examine each piece with a soft, curious gaze. If a crack had appeared during firing, she would not discard it. Instead, she would study the crack, then mix a resin with gold dust and fill it, highlighting the flaw. She called these her golden scar pieces, and they became her most sought-after work. Kaito lived in constant tension with the process, accepting only perfection. Sumi accepted the process itself, with all its beautiful, unpredictable results. Kaito's world was one of frequent disappointment. Sumi's world was one of continual discovery. Acceptance, like Sumi's golden resin, does not erase the crack, it transforms your relationship to it, making it part of the beauty, part of the story. This applies to our inner world with profound force. We often meet our own difficult emotions, sadness, fear, jealousy, with an inner war. I shouldn't feel this. Go away. This is like Kaito trying to smash the pot with the crack. It only creates more shards. Acceptance is like Sumi's gentle gaze. It is turning toward the feeling with kindness and saying, "Ah, you're here. This is what is present in me right now." You allow the feeling to be there, you feel its texture, you listen to its message, without becoming it. By allowing it space, it often loses its sharp edges and begins to move, to transform, or simply to dissolve, having been fully acknowledged. In relationships, acceptance means seeing and loving the person before you, as they are, not as you wish they would be. It is relinquishing the exhausting project of trying to mold others to fit your blueprint for happiness. This does not mean tolerating disrespect or abuse. It means seeing the truth of the other person clearly. From that clear vision, you can then choose how to engage with wisdom and compassion. I accept that you have this habit. Because I see it clearly, I choose to set this boundary for my own peace. The boundary then comes from love and clarity, not from resentment and control. Acceptance is the final release of the argument with what is. And in that release, you find a peace that is not contingent on everything going your way. You find the freedom to dance with life as it is, with its joys and its sorrows, its successes and its stunning failures. You say yes to this moment, and in that yes, you find that you are already home, already whole, already at peace, not because the moment is perfect, but because you have ceased demanding that it be so. Having explored the inner sanctuary, the teachers among us, the open hand, the ethical foundation, the grateful gaze, and the courageous yes of acceptance, we now arrive at a unifying principle, a way of seeing that weaves all these threads into a single tapestry of understanding. This is the perspective that the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. Buddhism teaches that we do not see the world as it is, we see it as we are. Our perception is not a clean window onto objective reality, but a lens colored by the state of our own hearts and minds. A mind clouded with agitation sees threat and chaos. A mind resting in peace sees interconnection and beauty. This is not mere philosophy, it is a practical truth with immense implications for how we live and find peace. Think of your consciousness as a vast lake. The condition of the lake determines what it reflects. If the lake is churned by winds of worry and storms of anger, its surface is a chaotic, broken mirror, reflecting a fractured, frightening world. But when the winds die down and the lake becomes still, it becomes a perfect mirror, clearly reflecting the sky, the trees, the moon, the profound beauty and order that were always there. Your work is not to fix the reflection, it is to calm the waters. The world you experience is the reflection of your own inner state. This means that the path to a peaceful life is an inside job of the most literal kind. You are not trying to rearrange the mountains and trees on the shore to make a prettier reflection, you are learning to settle your own mind. When you cultivate inner space through mindfulness, you create a larger, calmer lake. When you see others as teachers, you learn from the reflections they provoke. When you practice ethical living and gratitude, you filter the waters of your mind, clearing them of the sediment of resentment and greed. When you accept what is, you stop throwing stones of resistance into the lake. Each of these practices is a method for achieving stillness. And in that stillness, the world you perceive cannot help but change. I witnessed this in a very personal way during a year I spent living in a bustling city after years in the quiet countryside. At first, the city felt like an assault, a cacophony of noise, a press of strangers, a constant, rushing energy. I felt irritable, overwhelmed, and longing for the peace of my old environment. I saw the city as harsh, impersonal, and draining. Then, I committed to deepening my meditation practice, not to escape the city, but to find a center within it. As my daily sitting began to create more inner stillness, something subtle shifted. The noise didn't disappear, but it began to feel more like a river of human energy I was observing from the bank, rather than a torrent I was drowning in. I started to notice small kindnesses, a shopkeeper remembering a regular's order, strangers helping with a stroller on the subway steps. The impersonal crowds became a tapestry of individual stories. The city hadn't changed. My inner lake had become calmer, and so its reflection of the city had transformed from one of threat to one of vibrant, interconnected life. Let me offer an original story, the parable of the twin villages. Two villages existed in the same valley, separated by a wide, calm river. The people of Sunward Village were generally content, cooperative, and trusting. The people of Shadowvale were suspicious, competitive, and quick to anger. A great bridge connected them, and people crossed frequently for trade. A traveler, hearing of their differences, decided to conduct an experiment. He first went to Shadowvale and asked an elder, "What are the people of Sunward Village like?" The elder scowled. "Treacherous. They smile to your face but cheat you in trade. They are lazy and look down on us. Do not trust them." The traveler thanked him, crossed the bridge, and asked the same question of an elder in Sunward Village. The elder smiled. "Oh, they are wonderful traders. Sharp, yes, and they drive a hard bargain, but their word is solid. They are hardworking and fiercely loyal to their families. We have much to learn from them." The traveler was perplexed until he spent a day in each village's marketplace. In Shadowvale, everyone watched him with guarded eyes, transactions were tense, and voices were sharp. In Sunward, people met his gaze openly, haggling was good-natured, and laughter was common. He realized, each village was sending its own people across the bridge. Shadowvale sent suspicious, defensive energy and received suspicion in return. Sunward sent openness and respect and received the same. Each village was living in a world perfectly reflected by its own collective inner state. This is the mirror in action. Your inner state, your predominant mood, your core beliefs, your level of peace, is what you project into your interactions. And like a beam of light, it hits the world and reflects back to you a reality that confirms it. If you walk into a room feeling defensive and small, you will interpret glances as judgmental and words as slights. You will create the very rejection you fear. If you walk into a room anchored in your own peaceful worth, you will meet people with openness, and they will often relax and reflect that openness back. Therefore, the most powerful service you can offer to a troubled world is to attend to your own inner peace. This is not selfish. It is foundational. You cannot offer calm if you are in turmoil. You cannot truly see others if your own lens is clouded with projection. By doing the work to calm your own lake, you stop contributing to the collective turbulence. Your stillness becomes a tiny island of peace in the shared sea of consciousness. Others may not even know why, but they may feel calmer in your presence. Your reflection is one of steadiness, and that can give others permission to glimpse their own. This understanding brings immense responsibility and even greater empowerment. You are not a passive victim of a world that happens to you. You are an active participant in co-creating your experience of it. The person who cuts you off in traffic is a neutral event. Your inner state at that moment determines whether it becomes a 5-second inconvenience or a ruinous hour of fuming and storytelling. Your peace is not at the mercy of that driver. It is in your hands, in your choice of where to place your attention, in your ability to return to the stillness of your inner lake. So, we come full circle. The practices are not separate. They are a holistic system for polishing the mirror of your perception. When you remember you are the sky, not the storm, the lake becomes still. When you welcome all as teachers, you learn the lessons that clear the water. When you live ethically and with gratitude, you stop polluting your own mind. When you accept what is, you stop churning the surface. And as the reflection clears, you begin to see the breathtaking truth: a world of inherent beauty, interconnection, and peace was here all along, waiting for you to become still enough to see it. As we near the culmination of our journey, let us integrate these understandings into the very fabric of daily living through a final, master practice, the cultivation of boundless heart, or what is known in Buddhism as Brahmaviharas. The sublime abidings. These are not distant ideals, but qualities we can nurture until they become the very home in which our mind resides. They are loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. Together, they form a complete ecology of the heart, allowing us to meet all of life, the pleasant, the painful, the neutral, with wisdom and unwavering peace. Let's begin with loving kindness. This is the radiant wish for happiness and well-being, for ourselves and all beings. It starts with a simple, revolutionary act, wishing yourself well. So often, we are our own harshest critic, a constant internal voice of lack and blame. Metta practice begins by turning that voice into a friend. You sit quietly and offer phrases to yourself: may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. You are not asking for anything. You are planting seeds of benevolent intention in your own heart. From that rooted self-care, the wish naturally expands, to a loved one, a neutral person, even to someone with whom you have difficulty, and finally to all beings everywhere, without exception. This practice systematically dissolves the barriers of the heart. It trains you to see past the surface behaviors of others to their shared longing for happiness. It is the conscious cultivation of the open sky mind, now infused with warmth. Imagine your heart as a lantern. For years, you may have kept the glass smudged and the flame low, its light barely reaching your own feet. Metta is the gentle polishing of the glass and the steady turning up of the wick. The light grows brighter, reaching further, illuminating not just your path but offering a gentle glow to others on theirs. It does not demand that you like everyone or agree with them. It simply wishes them freedom from suffering, from the inside out. Next is compassion. If loving kindness is the wish for happiness, compassion is the wish to relieve suffering. It is the heart's natural response to pain, in ourselves or others. But true compassion is not pity, which carries a sense of separation, poor you, down there. It is a fierce and tender recognition of shared vulnerability. It says, this pain is part of the human experience. I feel it with you. The practice of compassion involves allowing ourselves to be touched by suffering without being overwhelmed by it. It is the balance of the open heart and the clear mind. When you see someone struggle, instead of turning away in discomfort or jumping in to fix them from a place of anxiety, compassion allows you to be present. Your presence itself becomes a sanctuary. Sometimes, the most compassionate act is silent witnessing, or a simple, I am here with you. I will share an original story, the compassion of the stonecutter. In a mountain village, the finest stonecutter, an old man named Elian, was known for his serene demeanor. One day, a young, ambitious cutter named Kale mocked him. "You work so slowly. You caress the stone like a lover. I can cut 3 slabs to your 1. Elian just smiled. A week later, a delicate cornice high on the new temple cracked. Only the most precise work could repair it. Kale, with his quick, forceful blows, tried and failed, making the crack worse. In frustration, he threw down his tools. Elian approached. He did not chastise Kale. He simply placed a hand on the flawed stone, feeling its grain. He said, "The stone is afraid. Your anger made it brittle." He then worked, not on the stone, but with it, his chisel strokes like a conversation. Hours later, the cornice was not only repaired but more beautiful for the intricate fix. Kale, humbled, asked how he stayed so calm. Elian said, "Compassion is not just for people. It is for all things that suffer under force. The stone was suffering under your will. I had to first feel its distress, then work from a place of partnership, not domination." True compassion meets the world where it is, with a willingness to understand its nature before acting. The third quality is sympathetic joy. This is the often forgotten jewel. The ability to rejoice in the happiness and success of others. It is the antidote to envy, which is a bitter poison that shrivels the heart. When a friend shares good news, does your heart genuinely lift with theirs, or is there a subtle, shrinking comparison, "Why not me?" Mudita practice trains us to find delight in the good fortune of others as if it were our own. It recognizes that joy is not a finite resource. Another's victory does not diminish the pool of happiness available to you. It actually adds to the collective light. You can practice this by consciously celebrating others' achievements, large and small. It unlocks a world of shared celebration and dissolves the lonely illusion of separation. Finally, equanimity. This is the peaceful, balanced heart amidst the 8 worldly winds, gain and loss, fame and disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. Equanimity is not indifference. It is not a cold, flat feeling. It is the deep understanding of the law of cause and effect. It is the wisdom that allows you to engage fully in life while holding all outcomes lightly. You do your best, you act with kindness and integrity, and then you release your grip on the result. You understand that everyone is the owner of their karma. You cannot control another's journey or absorb their pain as your own rescue mission. Equanimity gives you the stability to offer love and compassion without burning out, because you are not attached to a specific result. It is the open hand, the sky-like mind, and the ethical ground all realized in a single, steady heart state. Together, these 4 form a self-sustaining system. Loving kindness wishes for happiness. Compassion responds to suffering. Sympathetic joy celebrates happiness achieved. And equanimity provides the wise balance that allows you to practice the other 3 endlessly, without exhaustion, knowing you are part of a vast, unfolding process. To cultivate these, you can dedicate a few moments of meditation to each. Picture a being and bathe them in the silent phrases of metta. When you hear of suffering, pause and offer a moment of compassionate recognition. When you hear of a success, consciously generate a feeling of joy for that person. And when you feel tossed by hope or fear, reconnect with the steady ground of equanimity. All beings are the owners of their actions. Conditions are always changing. I will stay balanced and kind. This is the heart of the path, not a withdrawal from the world, but a full, fearless, and infinitely kind participation in it. It is the culmination of all we have explored, a heart that is boundless, a mind that is clear, and a life that is lived in peaceful, radiant harmony with all that arises. We have journeyed far together, through inner landscapes of sky and lake, through the open hand and the grounded footstep, through the grateful eye and the accepting heart. We have polished the mirror of perception and cultivated the boundless heart. Now, as we draw our shared exploration to a close, let us gather these strands not as separate lessons, but as a single, living understanding, the art of abiding in peaceful awareness, no matter what life brings. This is not a final destination, but a manner of traveling. It is the gentle, moment-to-moment remembrance of who you truly are beneath the weather of experience. Think of it as coming home to a quiet room inside yourself, a room that has always been there, furnished only with presence. In this room, you can hear the rain of difficulty without becoming damp. You can feel the sun of joy without clinging to its light. You can watch the comings and goings of thoughts and feelings as you would watch birds passing outside the window, interesting, sometimes beautiful, sometimes noisy, but never truly you, and never permanent residents. The Buddha's path is often called the middle way. It is the way of balance. Not suppressing life, nor being swept away by it. Not building walls of denial, nor leaving the gates open to every storm. It is the poised, compassionate, and clear-eyed engagement with reality, from a center that cannot be shaken. All the practices we've discussed, mindfulness, ethical living, gratitude, acceptance, loving kindness, are simply tools for returning to this center, for remembering this middle way, again and again. There will be days when you forget. You will become the storm, you will clutch at outcomes, you will see a person as an enemy, you will dwell in lack. This is not failure. This is the material of the path itself. The practice is in the gentle return. The moment you notice you have drifted into suffering, into reaction, into tightness, that moment of noticing is a moment of awakening. It is a small enlightenment. In that instant, you are already beginning the return to the center. Do not berate yourself for drifting. Thank yourself for noticing. Each return strengthens the pathway home. Let me leave you with one final, original story, a parable of the lighthouse keeper. On a rugged, storm-racked coast stood a tall lighthouse. An old keeper tended the great light. His job was not to stop the storms, they were as natural as the sea itself. His job was to keep the light burning, clean the lens, and ensure the mechanism turned, so the beam cut through the darkest night and the thickest fog. Ships relied on it not for calm waters, but for a fixed point of reference in the chaos. Sailors in tossing decks would search the gloom for that steady, sweeping light. Seeing it, they knew their position. They knew where the rocks were. They could navigate. You are both the keeper and the lighthouse. The storms of life, of loss, change, criticism, fear, will come. You cannot stop them. Your work is to tend your inner light. Your practices of mindfulness clean the lens of your awareness. Your ethical living keeps the mechanism true. Your gratitude and loving kindness fuel the flame. Your acceptance allows the storm to rage without you believing you are the storm. And from this steadfast, tended light within you, you become your own reference point. No external chaos can extinguish this light, for you learn to guard it and fuel it from within. And in your calm, steady presence, you may even become a reference point for others lost in their own storms, not by shouting directions, but simply by being a steady, shining example that peace is possible. So, as we part ways in this shared audio space, carry this with you: you are not a victim of the weather. You are the awareness that contains it. You are not a prisoner of past actions or future worries. You are the freedom of the present moment. You are not a lonely island. You are a vital, interconnected part of the whole, reflecting and receiving light. The practices are yours now. Take one. Just one. Perhaps it is the pause before speaking. Perhaps it is the nightly naming of one thing you are grateful for. Perhaps it is the silent wish, "May you be happy," sent to a difficult person. Hold it lightly. Practice it not as a chore, but as a kindness to yourself. Let it grow. Remember, the true temple, the real monk's moon temple, is not made of wood or stone. It is the quiet, aware, compassionate space within your own heart. The door is always open. You are always welcome. You are always home. Thank you for walking this path of peaceful resilience with me. May the light of your understanding continue to grow. May your heart remain open and kind. May you dwell in ease and in peace. Good night.